eating gummy bears. But I'm eating Smart Sweet gummy bears. Only 3 grams of sugar in this one. My favorite are the fruity kind. These ones. This isn't sponsored, by the way. I really wish it was sponsored. One of my 2020 goals, I'm not even kidding, I'm saying it right now, is sponsored by Smart Sweets because I eat them so often. Like, I'm obsessed with them. I get them almost every single time I'm at the grocery store. I love them so much. I love the brand. I love what they stand for. I love the flavor. I just love everything about them. So please, this is the New Year's one of the New Year's goals for 2020. But basically, let me chew. Basically today I want to make a video about something that I get asked about so much, like different variations of this question. I kind of want to sit down and explain kind of my theory or my philosophy on health, fitness, and basically life in general, and hopefully just me explaining this theory you'll be able to kind of answer your own questions. And that, what I mean by that is, like, if you know the character of someone, if someone were to ask you, like, let's say you have a friend named Zach. I don't know anyone named Zach, so I love that we're gonna use that name. And you know Zach's character, you know what he stands for, you know his values, and people are gonna ask you questions like, oh, would Zach do this? Would Zach go here? How would Zach respond to this? You would probably have a general idea in general of how the person, what their response would be, what their reaction would be, and so forth, right? Instead of having to ask every single one of those questions, if you know his basic character and moral compass, you'll be able to answer the questions kind of yourself. So I get a lot of questions like, oh, do you eat this? Or what are your thoughts on this? Or what are your thoughts on working out like this? And kind of just variations of health questions. And I feel like once I explain this philosophy to you, it'll be easier for you to answer kind of general questions about how I view health and fitness and so forth. So last housekeeping thing before we move on in. Basically, if you guys know, I have a jewelry line, Clyde. It's an affordable luxury jewelry line, and it's handmade in LA. And yeah, I'm really excited. It's a wonderful, a lot of you guys have so many pieces from it. I don't chat about it too much because I'm not one to plug things just to plug them, really. Like, I plug it when I genuinely feel like it's appropriate. But how it's going to be run this year and moving forward is, instead of just releasing collections every so often, every month a new collection will launch on the 15th, and it'll be limited edition, so it'll be only available for 1 week. Each collection will be approximately 3 to 5 pieces. It obviously depends on what the pieces are, right, to see the size. And it'll be available, like I said, from the 15th to the 22nd of every month, just 1 week. And yeah, this month's collection is going to be basically really beautiful luxe earrings, but of course for an affordable price. So basically they look like this. They're the most, there's no filter, like you're just seeing this on camera. They're so stunning. They're basically these really beautiful studs, and then on top they have this kind of like gold colored like paneling across it. I don't know, I think it's really unique. I don't have my middle hole in right now. I kind of like the way I had all 3 of them. I figured it looked really tacky, so I just have my 3rd one and then this one in. This is literally the earring that they used to pierce my ear, so I get a lot of questions about this one, but it just was from the piercing shop. But this one is absolutely stunning. Instead of just having normal studs, which those are beautiful too, it's just kind of a twist, and it's very minimal. It's very elegant and minimal, which is kind of what I like to look for when I look into an earring. It's kind of like, I would say, a twist on a classic. It's always interesting when you see a classic piece, but it's done differently, right? So you think like, oh, just a stud, and then you see, and then it has that detailing. So these will be available on the 15th. The biggest question I get in general is, how do you stay so motivated to eat healthy? How do you stay so motivated to work out every day, basically? Questions like that. Basically, like, how, like, people who are wanting to get healthier, those of you guys who are wanting to get healthy or fit, or who are wanting to exercise more often and eat healthier, like, how do you do it? How do you break the habits of how you're eating in a certain way and move forward, right? That's the general question. So this could be answered, and it could take me so long to answer. I'm going to try to answer it in the most simple way that I can. As I always say in my kind of like more advice talking videos, I just like to get to the core of the question and address that, and hopefully that'll, you know, make it easier and more simplified for everyone to comprehend. So first of all, when you're doing any sort of habit, your literal neurological pathways are wired that way. So if you're waking up at a certain time every day, or you're even like you basically kind of get addicted to so many things. You can get addicted to the routine of your life because it's comfortable. So I said, like, your neurons will fire in a certain way. Let's say every time you wake up at this time, then you go to work at this time, the same neurons can fire when you wake up, the same ones on your drive while you're driving there. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to fire and create habits in yourself, and that's going to trigger certain emotional responses. Your body gets in a rhythm where you literally expect to perform the task at approximately that time, and your body produces the hormones and the kind of reciprocative, almost overall I'll use the word energy but loosely, but basically prepares your body for that activity. So that's why people, I mean, you can get addicted to eating certain foods, because if every day you're eating fatty foods or junk foods, processed foods, your body literally will expect and crave that. On top of foods that are very addictive, like sugar is very, very, very addictive and probably one of the hardest foods to break, to stop eating sugar. In the same way, of course, you can get addicted to like people obviously are very different than food, but like if you're, let's say you've been hanging out with a friend every Wednesday night or every Friday night, you hang out with a certain friend and then you stop hanging out with that friend, at first it's going to be weird because you're like, your body will literally, and your mind, like your thoughts will genuinely be like, oh, I should go text this person to hang out or whatever it may be, right? Because you're basically the pattern that's imprinted in you, whether that's food, nutrition, any sort of behavior is going to cycle itself until you consciously stop it. If you've been eating unhealthy and not working out, that is what your body is used to. That is the norm. So if you're not working out at all and just eating unhealthy, your body, that's your baseline, right? And oftentimes it's very difficult for us to shift our baseline until things get quote unquote really bad, because we don't want, if we think that everything's fine, we are not going to make the changes. Most people are like living their life at, I would say 50%, if not lower, in terms of health, vitality, connectedness to the whole, full connectedness to self. And that's obviously a lot of that is like spiritual work, that's, you know, health and nutrition. It all really comes together, because at the end of the day, everything is energy, also as within. So without everything, how you do one thing is how you do another, which I will talk about in this video. But because if you think that I'm no exception, you know, all that I speak upon is through my own, you know, experience and trial and error as well. And I guess I should also, like, people always want to find a way to attack. So before I start this video, this is just my humble opinion. This is what works for me. Take it or leave it. I'm not telling you to do anything. If you resonate with me, you can do it. And if not, don't. Consult your physician and professional help. Otherwise, I'm not professional, you know, help. I'm not a therapist, but I feel like I always have to make that disclaimer because people get very, you know, but so yeah, so take everything with a grain of salt, but I'm just explaining from my perspective. And if you resonate with me and you feel connected, then, you know, I advise you to move forward with what you feel is right. And if like what I'm saying resonates with you and that feels right to you, then obviously I suggest you do it. And this is based on my experience and what has worked for me and what I've seen and observed myself, right? So, but basically you're used to that. Even when I did not work out every single day, when I wasn't, and also I don't want to say every single day, I do take a rest day, sometimes even two, but for me, like, I don't need to do intense training, right? I can do like a light yoga, I can do Pilates, like there's other workouts you can do. Just because you say workout doesn't have to be this high intensity like Barry's boot camp thing. So I just want to also preface it with that, because people be like, it's not healthy to work out every day. It is healthy to move your body every day. You don't need to be doing intense, you know, whatever work, but maybe on your off day you go for a walk. Like, you get what I'm saying? So anyway, but basically when I was like not eating as clean, when I was like literally I'd be eating like frozen Trader Joe's meals all the time, like years ago, not really working out as often. I'd be drinking like beverages, definitely had sugar in them. I was eating so many snacks. I'd go out to dinner, I'd have dessert. I've been there, done that, girl. Been there, done that. And you can even look at my like vlogs from 2 years ago and you can see my like how much my face is even kind of like depuffed and slimmed down. And at that time I thought I was fine. I thought I was feeling good. I was still productive. I was getting everything done, but I wasn't living life at this level of health and vitality and like energy and clarity. Almost like you feel really clear and light. Yeah, like you just feel clear and light would be the best way to explain it. So until you start making the changes to feel better, and then you feel what it feels like to feel better, that's when you don't want to go back. That's why people who start eating clean become super strict. They're like, I'm not going to eat that. People make fun of them. Or like, I'm not going to have that. Because once you feel the potential, and you have that potential, you watch this, you have the potential to feel that good. You have the potential to wake up every day with energy. You have the potential to feel excited about life. You have the potential to feel empowered in your own body and in the choices that you make for yourself. You have that in you, and it is your right to decide. You know what? I claim that is my power and my right to decide what I will and won't tolerate, what I will and won't put in my body. And obviously there's different situations for everyone in terms of like health and nutrition and how they're gonna, which ways of prepping or eating work for them. But you have the right to feel good, and you deserve to live a healthy, successful life where you feel happy, fulfilled, and loved. I am just saying that. Usually most people, they hit some sort of, I don't want to say, I always use sort of rock bottom, or something usually happens to trigger it, whether they feel like they're looking a bit, I don't want to use the word fat, but yeah, usually people are like, oh my gosh, they don't like, basically in more professional terms, they're starting to not be comfortable with their outer appearance, and that triggers something internally, and that is what kind of pushes them to create change. Or people have health consequences or health issues which pushes them to eat healthy. And the universe or the world does that because it wants you to be healthy. It wants you to live a healthy, fulfilling life. So in whatever way is going to trigger the change for you, it'll trigger it for you. So for some people it might be appearance, for some people it might be health, and just overall how you're feeling, you know what I mean? Or you'll just you may already be on a pretty high frequency and it just resonates with you to eat a little bit cleaner. Like for me, I would see other people eating cleaner. I had friends who were eating a lot cleaner. So I was already, I feel like, feeling good, and I saw the potential and I saw people who were doing it and I was like, whoa, like I want to feel like that. I want to be that energized. I want to have that amount of clarity. So that's how it began for me. But usually there's a trigger point. Now what I'm going to get into is self-discipline. Self-discipline is probably the most important thing in life, to be completely honest. Like in terms of like a characteristic to have. I mean, yeah, because it translates to so many things. It translates to healthy living, it translates to loyalty, it translates to success, it translates, yeah, honestly, like, so basically in how you, like, so self-discipline is being able to say no, in many cases, to momentary pleasures for your greater goal. In the moment, it may be fun to go out and drink and party, but how is that going to impact you the next day? How is that going to impact, does that add value? You know, and obviously everything in moderation. You, like, take this for how it works for you. If you still want in moderation, do what you want to do it. You know, I'm not telling you at all to how to live your life, what to do at all. I'm sharing what works for me. I got a lot of questions on it, so you can take bits and pieces that you like and throw away the rest. But when you do activities, try to evaluate yourself, like, is this just a moment pleasure, or is this actually going to create value in my life? And things can create value in life and be enjoyable. You can spend time with people you love. That's obviously creating value, but nourishing, creating relationships. When you're cooking a healthy meal for yourself, that you're nourishing your future self. You're serving yourself and you're serving your future self. That would you ask yourself, like, would my future self thank me for this, or would my future self be disappointed in me for this? Like, I'm discussing, but a really unhealthy snack, although maybe I bring you moment pleasure, I know. Listen, I used to love hot Cheetos, I used to love a good brownie, I loved creme brulee, I loved soft serve, you name it, I probably loved it if it had sugar in it, okay? I was, like, I'm telling you, I was dessert queen. In fact, I would tell people, I'm like, people who don't order dessert, it's like so, like, they don't even know how to, like, live life. Like, treat yourself a little, like, enjoy it. But yeah, I enjoyed it in the moment, but did I enjoy the next day? No, because when you're making decisions that only serve your moment-to-moment pleasures, which this expands into a lot more areas of life than eating, but primarily eating, it really impacts you. If you have something that doesn't serve you, if you start eating clean and see what it feels like to feel good, and then you start even eating one thing that doesn't serve you. For example, if I even have once, like, I clean all day, and then in the evening I went with a friend and we grabbed, like, guac. I wasn't gonna eat, but I was like, okay, I'll have some guac and chips, which I'm pretty sure they didn't even have gluten in them because they were corn, but they were very salty. They had sodium. I think the guacamole wasn't very fresh. I don't know. I immediately felt so sick, so heavy, that even when I woke up the next day, my face was swollen from the salt. Now that I know how I feel in the morning and what I normally look like, obviously, my face was swollen, my fingers were puffy, my workout wasn't as good, my mind didn't feel clear. When your mind feels clear, also it processes emotions much better. At those times when I wasn't eating clean, I was much more moody and emotional and sensitive. Now I feel like I have such a level of clarity that when an emotion comes up, I can really assess it from a balanced perspective, and even if it's, like, uncomfortable, something like that, I can, you know, let it go. Versus in the past, when my mind would be foggy and then I would think about something that happened that would upset me, for example, it would be like a whole thing, right? This translates to everyone. Once you start having self-discipline with food, the self-discipline, to make time to go get the groceries you need. I like to do it personally in the morning, like right after I go work out, or like right when I'm already, like, doing a productive activity, just tag it on. Sometimes it's hard to just, like, go in the middle of the day, or, like, you know what I mean? Like, let's say maybe you're driving home from work, you're already, like, driving home, maybe you stop by bed, or in the morning you drop off, I don't know, your kids, or maybe you're coming home from class. Try to tack it on to another activity. That way it makes it very automatic. So you're like, oh, I'm coming home from class, just stop at groceries. Driving home from work, gonna stop at groceries. After my workout, stop at groceries. Wherever is, like, your productive kind of like, time, just try to tack it on. But having the self-discipline, obviously, to get the groceries, get the nutrients that you need, be the self-discipline to prepare your meals. Now, this obviously looks different for everyone, whether that is meal prepping, like, on Sunday for Monday through Wednesday, and then Wednesday for the rest of the week, and then maybe you can cook the day of the weekends. Or if you're, honestly, if you're creating meals that aren't difficult to cook, like, there's lots of very healthy meals you can make in 5 to 15 minutes. You don't necessarily need to prep, but I do understand that if you want to bring, like, your lunch to work or to school or whatever it may be, It obviously is more comfortable, and sometimes if you're tired after a long day, I completely understand. So you just kind of want it to be there, you're hungry, you don't want to do this, maybe it looks like prepping for you, but that again is self-discipline. Once you get down the healthy eating, that part honestly doesn't get too difficult. You get into a rhythm with it. I promise, like meal prep for 2-3 weeks or clean for 2-3 weeks, it will not be as difficult to maintain. I can probably, like, honestly, I don't think so. What's difficult is saying no to things that don't serve you. I mean, cutting out sugars, alcohol, gluten are all things that I really suggest. Of course, that's what I say would make a really huge change in health. That's like a whole different video. That's a whole different guide. That's something else that you can look forward to. But it's me. I think it's Bluetooth songs. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Gonna let the light shine on me. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So like, and I would hear that all the time. Genuinely, I would hear people say that, and I comprehended it on a logical level, but I did not experience the immense shift in and such magnitude, such like I just messed up like the words, but I did not experience this shift of energy so grand until I really started applying this. When you start saying no, and it's, of course, it's not so simple. It's like saying no to, like I said, for me, it's like saying, I mean, for everyone, health-wise, it may look different. For me, it's saying no to foods I know that don't serve me. So for me, that's like processed sugars, processed foods, like basically, yeah, but I guess like still just super sugary drinks. I try to really be careful with gluten, things like that. For me, like saying no to that takes more discipline than I guess like just creating my healthy meals. Does that make sense? Like, yes, that also takes self-discipline, but saying no to things saying no to the moment for moment pleasure for your greater vision. And that's why I feel like that is truly the greatest key for success. So many people, and I'm not here like to blame or shame. I'm here truly from a place of just understanding and compassion, because I was there myself too. Like, it's really hard to break a cycle, like I said, that you're in. If every weekend you're out with your friends drinking and then going out to eat, or going out to eat with coworkers, or whatever that may look like for you, or in school you're snacking in the dining hall, or you're with your kids, so you're always driving them around, so you're grabbing food wherever you can, left and right. That's your habit, and that's the system that you've created, right? And then in the moment that you determine that system does not work for you, that is when you need to make the change. And so saying no to all those things that maybe, like a lot of times, if you take a look at someone's life, a lot of the things that they're doing don't serve them. And that's how you can kind of clearly see people are asking, why don't I have the results that I want? Why don't they have the success in their nutrition, in their fitness, in their personal life, in their career? And it's like, well, are you doing things that serve you in all of those categories? Like, are you every week doing things that serve you in that direction? And so, for example, like going out and drinking doesn't really serve you. In fact, I personally think it will just like take away, I mean, everything in moderation. I generally think that's like you can have like I understand, like, yes, in moderation, but I'm saying on extreme scales, like if you're doing anything super consistently, like eating, I think just not eating healthy, you shouldn't do it. Like, because once you eat super clean, you won't crave, like if you don't eat sugar for a month, you generally will not crave it as much. If you don't eat processed food and you feel really good, you won't crave it as much. Like, the more you stay on the wave of clean eating and etc. and exercise, the more the other things will seem like not appealing to you. Do you get what I'm saying? It's kind of how people will be like in a bad relationship, and then maybe like a few months, a year later, they're like, it's so unappealing. And in that moment they were like desperate and attached to that situation because you don't see it with clear eyes yet. And then once you know, you kind of are out of it and you're living in a better world, so to say, or like a better, you know, internal world, and you see things in a different light. The things that were appealing to you once won't be appealing. Like, to me, honest, it's not appealing to have like a lot of unhealthy food. So then what happens is when you begin to create self-discipline in one area of your life, like I said, it translates into every area of your life. If you're able to say no to things that don't serve you in terms of moment-to-moment pleasure, whether that be an unhealthy snack, whether that be a treat, it really ends up translating to every other area of your life. It ends up translating to activities that don't serve you. So when you get invited to things that you know are not in alignment with your highest good or who you are as a person, or where you're trying to be, it's much easier for you to say no to that. It's much easier for you to set boundaries. I know boundaries are such a big like overhyped thing now on social media and such, but in general, like you're able to say no to things that don't serve you easier. So maybe on a Friday, Saturday night, you know it's not really going to serve you to drink because you want to work on a passion project, or you want to work on a business, or you just want to go work out, or you just want to cook yourself a clean dinner, or you just want to relax with your cat or dog or whatever it may be. Spend time differently with friends or family, right? Of course, spending times with friends and family is so beautiful, but when you're doing it and harming your health and taking away from your future self, that's, I think, when it becomes something to maybe think about. Into every area, you begin to have such that self-discipline, then you start, like I said, it starts then you're more efficient with your workouts, you're more efficient with your cooking, you say no to things that don't serve you in all areas of life. It begins translating into career and friendships and relationships, and before you know it, you feel in control, and before you know it, you feel empowered, and you feel that you have clarity, and you begin to have peace of mind because you begin to have a confidence in yourself and a confidence in what you know you deserve. And then, like I said, that just begins to blossom, and then and once you have that self-discipline, your life transforms. I mean, you're gonna obviously start looking, when you're gonna start eating clean, not that everything is for aesthetic purposes, but let's not lie, like everyone wants, most people, which say everyone would like to, you know, be fit and healthy, and that looks different for everyone. One person's fit and healthy is not this other person's fit and healthy. I completely understand, but I'm just saying that, like, you're gonna start like looking much better, you're gonna start feeling better. When you start looking better and feeling better, you're gonna have much more confidence. You're gonna have more confidence to go after things that you desire, maybe the friendships, relationships that you desire. You're gonna start putting yourself out there more, and at the same time, you're gonna have that self-discipline, so you still be putting yourself first and setting boundaries of things that don't serve you. So not only will you be like looking and feeling your best or much better than you have in the past, but you're going to be putting yourself in situations and circumstances that now are in line with the future that you do want to create and the future person that you know that you can be. And it just ends up like your whole life transforms, because you teach yourself self-discipline, and then you show yourself how good you can feel and look, and how committed you can be to yourself. Then that translates, like I said, it permeates through all areas of your life, and before you know it, the quality of your life is just improving tenfold and tenfold and tenfold. So, you know, of course, adjust it to you. I don't want to come in here it's like super rigorous, like you do it, you do this, because I don't really like motivational speakers or people who kind of come with that approach. I get what they're trying to do. They're going to try to put you into action to shift your energy, because when you start getting into action, it does shift your energy. Like I said, 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks of like clean eating, it will not be difficult for you, I promise. The first 2-3 weeks maybe, but once you're in the groove, the level of difficulty will subside substantially. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I always have all my description and stuff like that down below. I will have my Instagram down below, Clyde down below if you want to get excited for the new collection. I always have my website where I have like a free meditation for you and other normal meditations. I always have like a free welcome one. It's an anti-anxiety one you can check out, and tons more other stuff on my kind of spiritual website, PB Astrology. I recommend you check it out if you're into this type of stuff and you're looking for more resources. I love you always. Please leave me a comment if something resonated with you and you wanted to share, or leave questions or concepts that you'd like me to discuss in future videos. I love you guys so much. I'm on Instagram all the time, on stories, stuff like that, if you want to be a little bit more updated with me. And in the future, if I do ask questions on there, if you want to be involved and have your question answered, and be like directly involved in that sense, check that out. Also, on podcasts are coming back, and they're every Sunday. With that, I'm going to leave you there. I love you so much. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here. I love you, and I hope you have an amazing day or night, depending on when you're watching this. And I'll see you in my next video, or on many of my other platforms and things like that.